The
Yeehaw
gets me
indeed.
every time.
Forever and always, Cowboy Steak.
This is one of the best countdowns ever. I love it so
For
much.
sure, for sure. I'm just one day I will not be working on my cowboy book, and I will have to have another intro.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that
Um,
devastating?
are you gonna have to commission Kitty Ann to do you another one?
I think commission is a strong use of that word. A little nudge maybe,
You could
and
be
I
like,
will have
yeah,
to swap out
I'm
the
not working on
emojis and stuff. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you might do a pirate book or something, and that'd be a fun theme as well.
Ooh. I don't know what. Well, actually, I think I know what my next. I think my next project is going to be the fantasy book. So
Some fantasy vibes is good too.
yeah, but like what emojis, like what song? Because this is my intro is pretty yeehaw. It's pretty yeehaw.
It's pretty, huh?
Yeah, and that's whatever I hope people read my novel. I think I want that to be the takeaway. It's pretty yeehaw.
It's just that needs to be on the back cover, you know, the notes from people, what they've said about the book. It's pretty
Yeah,
yeehaw.
pretty yeehaw. That would be the dream. Anyway, Malden tries. How are you? What are you trying to do today?
I'm good. I haven't for sure decided yet because I've got a few things I'm working on. But I might do a little bit more world building, a little bit of video editing, and a little bit of reverse outlining. So mix and match.
She is a coat of many colors today.
I just feel like I'm back in the mindset of I don't know exactly what I want to work on right now. So I probably need to do. I did this little experiment in June of doing 25 minutes on something, then 25 minutes on something else, then 25 minutes on something
You're
else.
right. The
And I
blocking
might
thing.
do that rotation again because then I suddenly feel like, oh no, I'm really into the stats. This is what I want to do. And I figured it out then. So I might do that today.
I love that. Love that journey for you. Uh,
Right.
my name is Teague. Today I will be writing up my beta review of Mars's cowboy book, book. That's my that's the first print.
Even
I've
more of an
summarized
appropriate countdown then. It was perfect for today.
perfect for today. And also I know is it Manook who has a cowboy book? Love to read that, Manook. Shout out my way. Um uh and then or was it Flora? No, someone else was writing a cowboy book.
I feel like I remember someone else was saying, but I'm not sure who it was.
I'm like 7% sure it was Manook. Could be someone else. I don't know. And then also be doing my 500 words of the day, which has been my goal for August and will be my goal for September.
Nice.
500 words, 6 days a week. For August, I took Sunday off, but I'm thinking about maybe taking Fridays off of writing this time around.
Are you feeling like you have more things going on Fridays and that you're going to need that day specifically?
Not necessarily, but I feel like having a day off is a perfect day to write 500 words for me, as
Mm.
opposed to like coming home Friday from work, it's the weekend, and I'm just like, oh, hassling to get my 500 words instead of just living my life. So I think that's what I'm going to attempt for September.
Nice.
Um, let's say hello to some friends who showed up, even though I made this an hour ago. So kudos to you guys. We got
But
Mars here.
it's in the calendar and we have a calendar. So
Oh, do people check the calendar? I only check it once a month to make fun of Katie for posting it late, and then I don't check it
I
again.
think if people put in a regular thing in the calendar, then I remember it. So like the fact that you're gonna do every Tuesday, I remember that. Whenever Grape does every Friday, FaceTime Fridays, I remember that. But if someone does an ad hoc one, like even my one, I don't remember which date it is until I double check.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Keiko is here. Hello, hello. Speaking of Manook, Manook is here. Hello, friends. Hello, friend, you too. Speaking of Lazy Gang, Anna is here. Hello, Anna. Manook says, I'm ready to complete those 10K words from yesterday. Amazing. How many
Look,
words did you get yesterday?
she was at 8K, I think.
Oh, you got this in the bag. We'll be due approximately 2 hours of sprinting and shenanigans. Froggy is here. Hello, hello. Amphibian Overlord. Mars also loves this countdown. I do love that countdown too. It's a vibe. It gets me in the cowboy mood. Keiko will be getting dinner, and Mars says, I'm glad someone knows what the next project is going to be because I sure don't. I have like 15 projects currently vying for my attention. I don't even I don't even have 15 IDs, babes. I got like 3 looks and that's it. Minuk says, I'd buy it based on that. I presume this is very yeehaw. I'm just
Yeah.
putting that down in like whenever I need to review my book on some platform, like it's pretty yeehaw. I think one of my favorite ones is like I wrote this book and it was pretty damn hard. I'm pleased with it. Something like that's gonna be my Amazon review, I think.
That's a good one.
Minuk says, "Yeah, drafted Wild West Ghost Story, zero draft done and abandoned. No, come back, Jack."
I mean, not abandoned forever, maybe. Maybe just shelf for now, and then little
Ugh.
looksy backsy, and
I think
then
Minuk posted a cover in their thread, and it's just like, oh, the cover was so crisp, so good. I loved it. Loved it. Keiko says, "Need a distraction because family infighting and crying, so I write on the fanfic." Oh, I'm sorry,
mm,
Keiko. That sucks. Stay safe.
fanfic is a good distraction away from
It's a good escape.
that world, basically.
Mars says, "I check the calendar like every other day."
See, some people do. See,
Some people do, and some people don't. That's me. Let's see. Minuk says, "I have so many abandoned zero drafts. I think it's a curse."
like,
Excuse.
may I ask, Minuk, are they truly abandoned, or are you just not in the editing mindset for them yet when you finish them? And it's okay to take a long break because when you get back to them, you suddenly see everything that needs to be fixed. And so they're not abandoned, they're just on break the normal way, the way people mostly do editing, which is give it a
You were
post.
on a break. Mars says, "I got a review for Revelry that said, I loved absolutely everything about this book except for the genre. 3 stars. We'll read from this author again." Okay.
This feels
That's
like those Yelp reviews of restaurants, like Asian restaurants that are like, everything was too spicy, 1 star, or like people who, like those dumb reviews that are like, food was amazing, service was great, ambiance was perfect, couldn't find a parking spot, 0 stars.
yeah, it's like those people who review recipes and are like making banana bread but didn't have any banana, so I substituted it for mayonnaise.
And it wasn't good.
Tasted
Yeah.
awful. And I'm
No,
like,
but seriously, if you ever find recipes on TikTok, it pisses me off so much. Half of the comments are like, "Can I swap this for this item?" And it's like, you can do whatever you want. It just might not be the same. That's all. Like, you don't need
yeah,
to ask the recipe
yeah,
maker.
yep,
God.
that. Yes, that on break. Let's go with that. I would love to read your ghost story. I'm so terribly sorry. It's Grandpa's nap time soon. Um, yeah, I would love to read your Wild West ghost story, even if it's a zero draft. I just love that shit. Uh, I have some Wild West books that I'm going to read when I'm finished with my draft. One
Nice.
of the things I noticed when I was beta reading for Mars is like, whew, we truly share a lot of the common like Wild West tropes in our stories, but it's just so wildly different. So I think that's fun.
I feel like I can't read within the genre I'm writing in while I'm drafting. Like as research, pre-writing, and then afterwards when I'm editing, I'm okay with it. But in the middle of the drafting bit, I can't really read in that genre because I'm too worried about integrating ideas accidentally from those other books. Or sometimes I feel the other way around about like, I'm never gonna write something as good as this. What am I even trying to achieve here? And I just want to give up? So
Yeah, that's what I'm currently like. I'm gonna finish this draft and then I'm gonna read a bunch of these Wild West books and watch like
mm,
Wild West movies, Wild West shows. I have like a short list of like material I want to consume between like finishing my draft, resting it, and then starting the rewrites. So I'm gonna consume a lot of comic content between then and
nice.
there. So I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. Keiko says, I read recently a review on Amazon of an ebook where the reviewer gave the book 1 star because so much foul language and it's a horrible thing in the world. And I was just thinking, you read a high fantasy book, there's cursing. Read strictly children's books instead. There's worse than cursing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have no rebuttals. I agree.
I feel like I could sometimes see when a book is like, oh, there's so much curse like cursing words in it that it just doesn't read right. But that's more like the writing style that sometimes it bothers me. I'm like, you don't need to have a curse word every two freaking sentences. And sometimes, mostly with like perhaps self-publishing books, like you don't have that much with traditional publishing. I feel like they tend to take them out quite a lot. But in self-pub books, sometimes you have a character that swears all the time, and it actually just stops me from enjoying the book. But it's not because I hate swearing. I swear like a sailor. It's just like it just doesn't work. It's like distracting, I guess.
Yeah, I totally see that. Speaking of distracting, we're gonna get into the first sprint. Um, what are you doing for this sprint in particular? Any specific tasks?
I think I'm gonna start editing this video that I filmed yesterday.
Ooh, what's the topic? Is it the Notion one? Because I'm dying for the Notion
Yes.
story Bible. Ah,
Yes, it's the Notion one. It's a part one because there's a lot, and I feel like I've sort of stopped it at a certain point, thinking the setup is done, and in part two I'll start filling in things.
that's clever.
Because otherwise it's going to be such a long, long, long video.
Yeah, I started out making like a Notion page for my projects, but it just got so messy, and I was just like, oh, I'm just overwhelmed.
I
So I'm
will
very
say this.
excited.
You do use Notion, so you might be bored from my video because I like made it from the point of view of someone who's never used Notion. Here's how to use basic things as well. Um,
Oh,
so I go from like the bottom because I was like, some people will be like, oh, I don't really want to watch this because I don't use Notion, so I don't know the basics. I'm like, here are the basics at the same time.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna show my Notion page for my project. I stopped updating this, so it's not like complete, but this is like how far
Ooh.
I got, and then I was like, I'm over it. I don't understand what I'm doing.
It's good though. I like it.
It's
It's a
very
lot it's a lot more complex than the stuff I'm doing in that video because I'm doing it on because again, I feel like when I do things that are more complex, I find them beautiful and then I don't use them.
yeah. That's one
It,
thing about me. I need to build it myself from the bottom up, and it needs to be functional first. And then once I start using it, I can add
yeah,
like the
because
pizzazz.
I realize how I use it as I use it, right? Like it's the same as furniture. It's like suddenly I don't need this fucking table. Sure, it's pretty, but I'm not actually using it. What I need is an extra bookshelf or whatever, right? It's sort of the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Ooh, Phoebe countdown.
Yeah. Gone but not forgotten. She's not dead or anything, but
You have to say that every time.
I'm sorry, Stig. What's the name of that playlist on your Project Sunflower Notion page? Good question. Let me check it out. Let me see. It is. Can I just go into the tab maybe?
I think if you just right click it, you can.
He's a 10, but his aunt resurrects his dead mom as a birthday gift. That's the title.
That's
So,
fantastic.
yeah, that's not a project title playlist. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to do 25 minutes, and then we're going to be back, and then we're going to talk some more, and then there's probably going to be more sprints. I don't know. Stay tuned.
How
They are
cute.
so stinking cute.
Every time.
Every time. They get cuter and cuter.
Oh
How
my
did you
god.
do for that sprint, Marlin?
Good. I literally just finished as the little music came on. I was finishing the introduction and context giving of the video. So that's done, where I'm just basically explaining I'm going to get into world building for this specific project, Project Snowstorm. Here's some books I might use, etc. And then I'm going to get into the actual Notion building template.
Okay. Very excited for this journey. Very excited.
Ooh, and I booked a hotel with a friend because every year we go to Oxford for one day. Um, this time around, we're being proper adults. We've upgraded our Oxford trip to actually stay overnight. And we were just looking at a really nice hotel that I've seen on TikTok. And I was like, oh, this looks so cool and sort of like, I don't know, eccentric. So I'll send you the link so you can have a look without
Love
letting
it.
everyone else know where I'm going to be staying overnight for some random reason.
I want to go to Scotland next year. That's like my
Ooh,
goal. Um,
specific
and I,
areas?
hmm?
Specific areas, like, in
I
Scotland,
want to I
Edinburgh?
want to hike in Isle of Skye, but for now I'll just I think next year would just have to be like an Edinburgh weekend maybe or something like an Edinburgh week.
Yes.
Um, but there's definitely hikes I want to do in Scotland. I need to have money because things cost a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something I definitely want to do. And then I want to visit Oxford because I recently read The Bone Season, which takes place in Oxford. And
Oh,
Samantha Shannon stayed at Oxford and like had done tours at Oxford and like showcased all the like the buildings and like where her novel took place. And it was just so cool. And I was like, I want to visit.
that sounds great. I need to read The Bone Season then, just for that reason. No other reason.
It's set like 7%, 80% set entirely in Oxford.
So when I started writing Knights of Death, there's a lot that is set in Oxford, but only the beginning, and then afterwards it's mostly in London. But
She
I
has the
started
reverse. Her
writing.
beginning is London and then most of it is Oxford.
There you go. There you go. Except mine is mostly porn and hers probably isn't. But
Very little porn. A lot of emotional porn, I think, but
how did you do during this sprint?
for that sprint, I wrote up 2 pages strictly about characters for my feedback.
That's amazing.
And I'm still not done with the characters. Uh, and then I'm going to dive into setting and plot after. And then I've already written like a little introductory bit, like, "Ooh, these are the things I loved, and these are the things I missed." And then I do
Mm,
like this main bulk, and then I'm going to do like a summary at the end. I don't know.
nice.
Let's see how our friends did. Anna says, "I've been working on a little table I have outside, and I'm so happy it's breezy enough. It's been so hot out here. Currently 19 degrees in Norway, not hot at all."
Yeah, it's finally giving a little bit of autumn here. It's 19 degrees as well.
Ugh, slay.
So
Minute got 782 words added to yesterday's 8K. Wow, in 25 minutes. Effective queen.
amazing. But
That's
she's
like,
got an amazing outline that she's done all in Millinotes and sent me a little private video about how she set it up because I was
oh,
like,
I want to
what is
see
that? Show
Melano's
me more.
video.
And like it looks fantastic. And now I'm like, I need to try this next time I'm outlining. Obviously, I'm not outlining anything right now, but I'm keeping that in mind for sure.
I want to see this video, Minuk. Send it my way if you want to. If not, it's okay. I've been doing like my plan is to finish this draft of the cowboy book this year, and then I want to do the 5 Ps for my next project before summer. Nope, before the year ends. So I'm gonna do the 5 Ps for my fantasy book in
I
like
feel like
December.
that was generally helpful, not as someone biased who was like, buy the course. I don't even have access to the full course after this because I only said yes to doing the 5P sessions. But
Did you have the choice to do like you
I
could do the full
think
course?
when they contacted me, they were like, would you be interested in doing a video about this in general? And then I said, I'm going to be quite busy because I was in the middle of looking for a new job. And I was like, I'm going to be quite busy. Frankly, I'm probably not going to draft a brand new book right now, but I'd be willing to do some sort of, content around it. And so I think maybe based off that, she was like, well, what about, the 5Ps, which is just the preparatory courses. And plus it was quite close to the start of the course, which literally started yesterday for this section, of people.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, because it's different. It's like over 3 months, and because people are being actually followed, and there's an actual, you can ask questions of the author, Tom Bromley, I think,
Yeah.
who makes up the course and everything. I think for that reason, it's set during a specific time, and so you start it either on the 2nd of September. Or I think there's another date in October, or they're going to probably add more dates in, right? But because of that, I was like, I'll just do the 5Ps because I can do that. That's manageable. But I was hearing from Anna how much work it was to do the full thing. And I was like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, I've been watching Anna's vlogs, loving them. But it's just, whew.
It's essentially because I think at some point Anna was like, I'm ill, and so I've not been able to, I have to catch up on all these words I was meant to write and everything. I was like, yeah, like this course does not really take into account the fact that people have a daily life with work and then potentially fall ill.
Well, you do get, you can
Sorry.
like, is it a year's worth of, oh, hey boy.
Like I came in, he's a bit ill. He had a little
Oh no,
puke
my
earlier.
son.
You know, don't know. I think he ate something dumb as usual because it's a dog.
Because
So
it's my son. But you like get like access for a year or something, don't you?
you have access to the course for a year, I think. So you could do it later if you want to do it. And I think you've got access to the videos and everything, right? But I think the course itself is also partially having mentoring and having a
Yeah,
cohort
the
of
live
people you
streams
work
and
with.
exchange stuff. Yeah.
It's a lot more about that, and so that aspect of things, you got to do it during that specific time. And I'm glad, because for a second I was like, oh, do I want to have access to the course? That's a good benefit. And then it got like taken away from me, and I was like, do you know what, this is reassuring. Actually, I should not be trying to draft anything right now.
Yeah, I definitely would do it if it wasn't for the insane pricing.
Yeah, yeah, although I did post in the Discord a discount of like 250 or something.
Like in the grand scheme of the price of the course, that's so little.
it's it's still a good chunk, but yeah, it is so little in case.
Okay. Well, if you want a discount code, Yamala has it for the Readsy course.
It's because
How
they
to
did
write a
a
novel.
live session where he, like, Tom Romley did like a editing of for people's first chapters, and like first pages. And it was really good to watch just because I was like, I'm in the middle of revising my first chapters for demons, so I wanted to see what he was doing in terms of editing down and saying this works, this doesn't work. And at the end of that session, the live stream, they were like, here's a discount code of whatever percentage it was. So yeah, I copied and pasted it.
For sure, for sure. But I want to do the 5Ps anyway,
Yeah.
in December for my fantasy project. And it's going to be reworked so much in terms of, because I've written the first act and then a few chapters.
Mm,
But it's going to be so different. So I'm going to need to start from scratch. And that excites me. But anyway, Manukia, 782 words, slay.
that's
Mars
amazing.
says, I updated my vlog, grabbed a snack, and then got back to reading. What are you reading, Mars? Call in. Froggy says, did some administrative stuff, and I'm about to eat dinner, which tonight will be an apple, some brie, and some bread. Girl dinner, if I ever saw it.
The funniest thing is that when I say I'm eating brie and bread, everyone's like, that's such French girl dinner. But the fact that there's an apple with it, immediately my mind went, that's medieval French girl dinner. It's giving
Yeah,
tavern. It's giving.
it's
Yeah.
giving a local tavern indeed. Mars says, I almost got a copy of the Bone Season a few weeks ago, but I got an Ember in the Ashes instead because I was limiting myself to one book and it was cheaper. LOL. It's fair. 19 degrees? I have 29 degrees in my flat. I would perish.
I would
Simply,
die.
simply
It's
perish.
it's probably 23 degrees inside the house. It was earlier today, but it's 19 outside. So
Yeah. Froggy chimes in with French peasant here. It's giving French peasant realness, not gonna lie.
I was thinking more French adventurer, like D&D vibes, or you're about to meet Aragorn in a dark tavern, right?
It's given Hobbit. That's what
Yeah.
it's given. Mars says it's 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius here, so not bad, but not quite autumn yet.
Can I say how much I appreciate the translation into Celsius?
I know ish that everything 70 kind of relates to 20. And that's
Okay.
like my goalpost for
I know nothing. I
translating
just I
Fahrenheit.
just Google.
Minuk says, sure, but it's really really bad quality and rambly. That is my favorite kind of content. Send it my way, Minuk, if you want. I'll happily. make a Notion page for my, or maybe that's what I do, make a Notion outline for my fantasy project.
Could do.
Ooh,
But
ooh,
so
ooh,
the
ooh.
Milano thing is more like you can add a bunch of little images. It's a lot more free flowing, right?
I've used it. My problem was that it was very limiting in the amount of pages you could have, and I'm a
Mm,
network boily, so I hit
yeah,
20, and it's like, sorry, you can't have more. You have to pay us money, and
yeah.
I'm like, not doing that.
Although I will say my second favorite one so far for World Bible, apart from Notion, is definitely the system in First Draft Pro. I really enjoyed the wiki
The
system.
wiki style, yeah,
It's so
I'm
good.
not being good at using the wiki style, but I do keep all my notes in First Draft Pro, and I pay $5 a month for it.
Yeah, same.
So
Because I want images. Like you can
I
still
want
have like
images. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of functions you can still have for free. That's the amazing thing. But I was like, I want images and want access to more than one project, and it's only a fiver. So yeah,
Can you? How many projects can you have without the free
one.
version? Oh, and
So
I have 4 projects, so that wouldn't work for me. Yeah,
yeah, but you could easily be like, I'm done with this one. I'm exporting it, and then I'm starting from scratch, and you can still use the free version if you were like, I don't want to pay for this, right?
that's true.
It's just that.
My only gripe is that when I take it out of the house, I don't always have access to internet, so keeping up with drafting in First Art Pro has been an issue.
Oh.
Um, but yeah,
I did do when I was drafting in it because I'm currently not drafting in Night of Death, which is the one project I've got on it. But when I was drafting it, I was exporting to Google Drive a lot, and then at some point I was writing on the train, and the internet is always dodge on the train. It's like sometimes it's on and off, and I would sometimes copy and paste what I was doing from because I was like, I'm so worried this is gonna get erased.
that's kind of why I like Scrivener because it's like local file, but you can send the Scrivener file to a cloud, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm moving into a draft next year, if I finish this draft this year, by God, I hope so. But if I finish this draft this year, I'm gonna move on to Scrivener for like the other edits because I don't know. I
That's
feel
how I
like
feel about it. To me, I really like First Draft Pro for the title First Drafting. Like, but I wouldn't use it for editing. Once I'm getting into second drafts and stuff,
I
I'd
think
rather.
navigating the manuscript is really difficult, like in the
Mm.
manuscript bit, because it just you go into a manuscript, then you have to scroll all the way down, or you could click the sidebar menu, but you still have to scroll all the way down to the end of the manuscript. And it's just very frustrating.
Oh, I just click on chapters and stuff, and then yeah,
Well, yeah, and then it takes you to the beginning of the chapter, and then you have to
yeah,
scroll through the chapter to get to the bottom. And like,
right,
it's not as because also I use in Scrivener a lot of dual windows, like 2 windows. So
yeah,
like I'll have something here and then I'll draft here. So maybe I have my outline here. And I kind of missed that with First Draft Pro 2. Now I have to like
mm,
reference something else in terms of like, ooh, what is the outline? And I don't know. And then if I
yeah.
put like the outline into the Scrivener file itself, it just counts as a bunch of words, and
I
I don't
kind
want
of
that.
wish there would be a program that would be a perfect mix between Scrivener and First Draft Pro.
We could invent it.
Like you know,
It's we could invent it. You could design the like the design of it, the UI, and I could just like decide what we want to keep, and then we could hire someone else to code it for us. How
I
hard can
just
it be?
who's gonna code it for us?
I don't know. I could learn like Python or whatever it's called.
Oh god. By the time I'm done with it, yeah, you'll have learned all of Python, to be fair.
To be fair. Let's see. Mars says I'm reading The Stern Chase by John Flanagan, book 9 in the Brother Band Chronicles. Is it good? Call in. Keiko says, well, I was not functioning last week. I'm just told by relatives that's summer. Yeah. Ooh, I hate that.
Hmm.
Ooh, I'm paying for Milanote, so maybe the video isn't helpful after all. If Molly found it helpful, I would.
I mean, I've not used it yet, but I used to use Milanote for room decorations. Like I did this room in Milanote before actually making this room happen.
Ah,
So I know how it works, but I don't know what the limitations are for free version. So I don't know.
Minuk says, I can help with the interface design. I'm a UI designer. My brother's a dev. Let's go. We could make bank. I'm just saying, we could make bank.
Yeah.
Is that snow outside your window? No. Are you talking about this? This is just
It,
a white building across the street, and this is just the heavens. There's no snow on the mountain yet.
it's because it's like bluish somehow.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, it's foggy. That's what it is. It's a lot of fog.
Mm.
Uh, Mars says it's very good. John Flanagan is one of my favorite authors. I'm very sad that this is the last book in this series. At least that's out so far. Oh, that's good. I love finding a good series, but also I find it so draining when there's like 9 books to read, and I'm like, ugh,
Yeah, I can't start new series like that anymore.
I'm too old, Molly. I'm too old. I say, having
Mm.
started Bone Season, which is going to be a 7 book season
Which I
series,
feel like
but
my attention span reduces every year, you know?
yeah, I also feel like I consume a lot of shorthand content, so that also reduces my attention span.
Mm.
So that's on me. Kiko says, yeah, they say that, but when it hits them, oh wow, me, it's horrible now. Everyone must find it horrible and pity me. Ugh, I'm sorry, Keiko, that you have to go through that. Froggy says, make bank and then Steve will have the money for Scotland. There you go. Eat the
Fun-
solution.
Funding, your trip to Scotland.
The
I love
problem
that.
is that I'm going next year, and I don't think we can have this in the bag by next year.
No, it's not going to happen that fast.
Mars says this is the spin-off of a 10-book series, so if you don't like super long series, then don't check it out, maybe. I thought
Fair.
Six of Crows was a perfect series, a duology. Yes.
I could do perhaps still trilogies, but they annoy me at times anyway, because sometimes they don't need to be trilogies. And I'm just like, you just wanted to make more money. And this could have been a duology, but yeah.
Plus, there's 2 prequel books, a 6-book sequel series of the main one, and a collection of short stories. Nah, bruv, I'm out. Tapping out. Speaking of, Anna says, I want to go to Scotland so bad. I think it's supposed to live there in my next life. I hope you get to live there
Mm.
in your next life.
I
Also,
mean,
Riding with
I
Scotland, come
even
on
want
now.
to live back there again. There's no jobs for me there. So,
But you work from home.
yes, but I still have to go to client meetings quite often, to be honest. I
I
do
mean, the
client
train from
presentations.
Edinburgh to London is what? 3 hours, 4 hours?
Dude, it's 5 hours. What are you on? It's
A
like a
speedy train,
day.
apparently.
It's an entire day.
Mars says 4 to 6 is my sweet spot when it comes to series length, but I'm also a fan of long series because I'm sad when I have to leave characters behind.
I will say this about the series, though. I don't know what kind of series this is because I have no idea what this is, but um, I love a series if it's individual stories. Like we then focus on a different character every time.
Ah,
Then I'm okay with series. Very long.
I don't know. I like concluding books, but an overarching story. That's my jam. But I hate
Yes.
it. Like I'd read
Yes.
Bone Season and it has a lot of loose threads. So
Yeah.
like the main issue is solved, but everything else is unsolved. And I'm like, that's too much unsolved for me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like yeah, and I think that's why because even I really enjoyed at the time reading the True Blood series, and I like that every book focuses on a different like case. It's almost like there's a little bit of a detective story within
Ugh.
it every single
Have you read them
time.
all?
I never, and I've reread them quite a lot, but I've never
Oh
managed to read
wow.
all of them because the end books, I always get like sort of bored at some point when they start making more of her being a fairy and all that shit, and I'm like, and my interest sort of dwindles. And I also know what happens in terms of her end game with who she ends up with, and I'm not interested in reading that, so I've never read the end books.
Oh. Who did you want her to end up with?
Am I allowed to say? I know it's very old, actually. It's not really spoiler anymore, is it? She
Yeah.
ends up with a guy who transforms into a dog.
Does she in the books?
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
wow. Okay. That's not who she ends up in the show, I think.
I think they changed it in the show because I read both ending, but again, I didn't watch the end of the show either. Like I watched
Oh,
so much
I
of the
loved
show,
the show. It
almost
was
till the end,
crazy.
and just not the ending.
True Blood was so fucking crazy.
Yes, Sam, that's who.
Sam is the Baroni,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I hate him as a character in general. He's got that misogynistic traits of like you can't go
Wait, he ends
anywhere or
up with a
do
werewolf
anything.
in the show? No,
Oh,
she doesn't.
Alcide? She ends up with Alcide?
I've watched this show to the end, and I thought she ended up with Bill, but maybe did he face the true death? Maybe?
None of those are fine. The only person she should end up with is Eric. Like, come on.
No, no, no.
Or alone. I don't care. But like,
Yeah, I
Bill is
think
awful. Alcide is
Suki and
awful.
Bill were my 2 least favorite characters, so I'm just like, you can just end up together over there, and I'll just focus on everything else. That's fine.
I mean,
Uh,
my favorite characters were always Eric and Pam as like a
oh,
duo.
Pam and
Just
Tara.
the most
Though I like
fantastic
Show Tara
duo.
more than Book Tara. Show Tara was fun. Book Tara was just terrible.
Shotara was completely different season on season, and some seasons she was super fucking annoying, and some seasons she was great, and it was just like make a decision here. But my
And
favorite
then
thing about the books was the fact that there's fucking Elvis Presley as a vampire in there, who's like
yeah,
Bubba, right? That's the only thing really missing from the show.
it's like a book and a show ending, Marta. Two different endings. But yeah, no, I love True Blood. It's like a crack fiction of the books. It is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, Alcide. Oh wow, is that who she ends up with? Forgot about that. But he's also hot, so
yeah.
understandable.
I can't remember how bad he was in the show. In the book, he makes a lot of decisions that I'm like, you should not end up with that man. But
I think in the show he just mostly takes his shirt off.
yeah, so that's fine. You can end up with that if you want.
Yeah. Vampire Elvis Presley gives me the same vibes as zombie George R. R. Martin in the show Z Nation. That's funny.
I've watched a lot of Z Nation. I don't remember that. That's probably I to be fair, I didn't watch.
Also, hey Marta, welcome, welcome. Did we miss any comments? I don't think so. Just remember him now more for his role in the final of Critical Role Campaign 1.
Yeah,
Never watched that.
he's a huge D&D fan. Like he plays a lot of D&D.
That I knew. Who doesn't love D&D though?
Yeah, but I think him and Harry Cavill were the first two that people started talking about a lot because they're like big muscular men that fit the standard of the male gaze, and so
Because
they didn't
they're
expect them
hot
to
people.
also be huge nerds. It's like yes, they're also huge nerds, and it's great.
Oh, the first one I like really heard about was The Rock.
Does he play D&D as well? I didn't
I
know that.
think so. Maybe I just made that out of my brain. I don't know. But I think like he plays D&D. I
That's
know he's
pretty
like a
cool.
huge fan, a video game fan.
Mm.
No, not The Rock. Uh,
Who do you
what's
think?
the Fast and Furious guy? I forget his name.
Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel, yeah.
Him. You were like one bald guy, no, the other bald guy.
Yep, the other ball guy.
Yeah. This is extremely Christmassy. What the fuck?
And it's gonna get more Christmassy as we go. I'm just like in the holiday spirit.
But it's autumn. We're not even in autumn yet.
Hey, September 1st. Mariah Carey is thawing as we speak.
Oh my god, no, Stig, that's
Let's
terrible.
celebrate. Yeah, see you in 25 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Ho, ho, ho.
What the fuck?
I am so pleased with my decisions. How did you do for that sprint, Mullen?
It was good. I finished making dinner so that I can eat it in either the next sprint or when we're finished. I don't actually know how long we're sprinting for. And I did another, I mean, I've got like 6.5 minutes of edited down content for this video so far. So I just continued in the same thing, to be fair, because I was just into it.
Slay. I finished my feedback for TDGHD, 1,500
Nice.
words, and I plastered that into the document that Mars sent me. So, Mars, you have your feedback now. It's all the way at the top of the document, so you can't miss it. And for the next sprint, I am gonna do my 500 words, hopefully in one sprint, because I think there's one sprint left. If not, I'll have to do two. You're free to leave at the top of the hour if you want to, but
No, I'm good. I don't mind. It's just that I'm probably going to eat during the next sprint, regardless.
slay. So that's what I did. Let's see what our friends did. What a timer, Froggy says. Ah, yes, 10 out of 10. Good job, Katie. Speaking of Katie, hello. Oh God, I forgot I made this, she said. We're also joined by an Andy. Hello, hello. Buttons booped and stuff. Welcome, welcome. Marta says, that timer never disappoints. It truly doesn't. It used to have soundtrack on it, and it's like a really catchy Elvis 50s soundtrack through the entire thing. And it's just so fun. But we had to take it away because copyright reasons, and it was a lot. It was very like
It's already a lot. Just
it was very
trying to grab your attention.
overstimulating with sound.
I can imagine.
Marta says, worked my way through some video editing. Mars did
Nice.
more reading, and I got through some work tasks.
Good job.
Manook's been eating dinner this sprint. Need to do more writing the next one. You're in luck. There's another sprint coming up. And Mars said, "Woo, feedback."
Yay.
Yay.
I enjoy writing edit letters, actually, I think.
I wish I was better at it. That's my only gripe because I just jump back and forth and then I just like it's just stream of consciousness. But
I do a lot of my inline comments anyway, so they can always, people can always go back to the inline comments, but I enjoy taking a step back and be like, what's the biggest thing that I remember from, the beginning? And yeah.
I think that's a good way. I've seen like obviously edit reading edit letters that my friends have gotten. Like there's like a certain je ne sais quoi to it, if you will, that I haven't yet mastered. But I just stream of consciousness. I try to roughly divide it in by like plot, characters, setting. Maybe
Mm.
have like an introductory bit of like I like this I missed. So it's somewhat structured, but
I like
yeah.
to do a sandwich where it's, like a sandwich compliment thing, where it's like I start with stuff I've really, really loved and just like basic feelings of like, oh my God, this, like proper fangirling. Then I go into the nitty gritty of things. And then I end up with like overall why I love this, this and this and that. Just remember you're a good writer and none of the, because
Yeah,
I
well,
need people to know that even if I make negative comments, it's to help them and not.
it's never negative comments, it's just critical comments. And that's
Yes.
like at least when I ask for feedback, that's what I'm looking for. Marta says, you guys write edit letters? I just send back a ramble of my thoughts entirely out of order. I try to organize it somewhat. So, like, if Mars was like, what did he mean about my characters? They can just go to the point that says characters and, like, all my thoughts about the characters are there.
It also depends
Um,
because some people ask questions. Like sometimes I'll leave questions
yeah,
with
if
the
there's a
name.
questionnaire, I won't do an edit letter. I'll just fill out the questionnaire because then usually
Mhm.
they're looking for something specific.
Yeah.
Also, this was a first draft, so is more of a vibe check than like if I
Yeah.
do a beta reading of like something that's been through like multiple round of edits, something that's been worked on, like something that is as close to what a person can accomplish with their book, I'll be a lot more thorough in my feedback. It'd be
Yeah.
more like technical, like, ooh, you could do this and this and this. And it's just like, yeah, it gets more technical if there's like further down the line in the draft we go. But this was a first draft, so it was just like a vibe check, like, oh, I love this
Yeah.
character, I love this thing, I missed this thing. Like, it's
Yeah.
not so like I don't give feedback. Oh, I think your use of adverbs here is really overdoing it, or like.
No, that's not what I mean. It's like, for instance, my gigantic edit letter I got back from Hudson for Space Princess Project. It is also a first draft. She mentions every single plot line and goes through this plot line doesn't make sense because of this and this and that. So there's going to be a lot of I mean, I personally just say negative, but it's criticism, whatever we want to call it. It's the same damn thing. But it's like there's going to be a lot of things to work on and to improve upon, which I know and she knows because it's the first draft. But then everything else is also sort of you have vibes about like I really enjoyed this character, I really enjoyed that plot line that actually worked, etc. But I
I do that too. Like I say, like, ooh, you talk about this in the first half of the book, but then you really fizzle out and you don't mention it again, or like
yeah,
this plot doesn't come to
there's gonna
fruition, or like
be
the
it
main plot
depends.
starts too late, or whatever. Yeah.
It obviously depends on the writing style. I know that I pants my way through, 3/4 of that book. So a lot of things will not make sense or just be like, this is too many plot lines. They gotta reduce it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like a bit hesitant to give out first drafts, but I do love reading first drafts.
Well, you can also, I feel like you definitely can specify what you're looking for. You can be like, just give me the vibes. I don't want criticism at this stage because I'm aware, of. You can also say that when you give it out if you're worried about that and you're like, I know of the things that I want to work on. And maybe can I call you back when I'm working on those to, think tank it with you? That's a different way of working through
For
things.
sure. And I'm always like, my last line is always like, if you got any comments or questions about my comments, I'd love to jump on a call and talk about this for 10 hours. It's my
Yes.
favorite thing to do. So I always make sure to leave a comment like that. But yeah, this was my third beta read of this year. So I feel like
Nice.
I'm putting back into the community, I feel like. So
Good job.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just here for praise. Nope, not Marta. Mars says, I love when Marta gives the big round of feedback, and then 3 days later, I get another message like, oh, I just remembered. LMAO, way to call me out on main. Marta says, you guys both sound like you are very good at giving feedback. I'll have to remember that. I don't know if I'm good. I just like giving feedback. And solicited feedback? Oh, I'm in heaven. Manuk says, I could never. I keep my first draft very close to my insecure self. Um,
I understand
Somehow
that. Yeah.
I understand the sentiment, but I'm like the opposite, where I'm like, sending someone a first draft is so like, ooh, you could be like, what am I trying to say? Sending someone a first draft, I could be like, oh, this is just a first draft, so it's
Yes.
gonna be shit. It's gonna be bad.
Same.
Like
You
this
can
is
justify
not
it.
this does not reflect me as a writer, even though it
Yes.
does.
Well, when you send what's meant to be a final draft and then they're like, "Ooh, this needs work," you're like, "Fuck's sake, now I feel bad."
Yeah, like thank you so
But
much for sharing
yeah.
your first draft, and you're like, this is actually my fifth.
Yeah, I actually did enjoy sharing Space Princess because, first of all, I fully trust Hudson and Anna, and I wasn't going to share it with anyone else at that time when I was just like brandly new, brandly finished. But you got to have people that you're like, I know that they're not going to judge me for all of the problems in this. And I had that element as well of, you know what? They both know that this is pretty much a zero draft with a very basic edit of spelling mistakes, and that's it.
Do you like consider it alpha feedback, or is it like beta feedback? Like, do you distinguish? Because like obviously you guys have a writing group. Like,
I
do
consider
you?
it critique partner feedback. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's what I
really
mean by
do.
alpha. Like, is critique
Oh, okay.
partner. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I don't really do
because
the
that's
alpha versus
very,
beta thing, but yeah.
because that's very different to like beta feedbacking. I feel like.
Well, I mean, it depends what you call beta feedbacking, but to me, if I'm asking for full feedback, that's critique partner level. If I'm asking someone to better read something, it's like better testing in my head. So that means you're testing it like you're a reader rather than an editor or a writer who knows a lot about writing. And
Yes,
that's probably what the distinction is in my head, but I don't know what the definition is exactly.
that's how I think about it too. Like in a critique, I'll go much more in depth. It'll be a
Hmm.
lot more inline comments, while a beta reading is just my reaction to the thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
pretty
that's
much.
that's a good way to see it. Let's see. Steeg immediately backtracking. Story of my life, but what did I backtrack?
I don't know.
Call it. Call in Anna. Nope. Call in Marta.
How about
You also
being a good edit letter giver and writer, and being good at giving feedback? Uh, we're
Mm.
not backtracking. I would love to read whatever you write, Marta. Send it to me.
Did I claim to be a good
No,
beta reader?
Marta said we sound like we're both good
Oh, gotcha,
at
gotcha,
giving
gotcha,
feedback.
gotcha, gotcha, gotcha,
And then you
gotcha.
went like, I'm not good at giving feedback. And she was like, don't
I just
backtrack.
love it. I'm not good at it, but I love it. Anna says, first draft is so fun because the possibilities are still endless. Also,
True.
there's endless possibilities in like a fifth draft, but I'm much more committed to stuff in a fifth draft than I am in a first draft.
Yes. And
And also,
also,
I've never
I'm
gotten
so
to a
much
fifth
more
draft, so who
tired.
knows?
I'm way
Yeah.
more tired to explore more possibilities at that point. I'm like, I don't want to explore them. Yeah.
Am I calling in about something? Sorry, I missed some chat. I don't think you can always call in, but I don't think I don't think I did a call to action.
No, neither did I. I was just talking about us giving, feedback to each other when we did our swapperoos of 3 manuscripts.
Swapperoos de menage a trois. Mars says, I love sharing my work. I finished draft and then immediately like I need people to read this right now. I'm a little bit like that, but then I send it to people I never hear back. So that's my plight.
Well, do you say like I need this back by that date?
No, it's just like people be like, "Oh, I'd love to read your story,"
Mm,
like in a chat or something, and then you send the story and then you never hear back. Like it's very non-committal, and I'm okay with that. But it's
okay.
just like, you know,
Because I feel like if you've probably said like, "Hey, could you like give me feedback by then they would probably
yeah, that'd
act.
be different. That'd be different.
Yeah.
Uh, Minuk says, I want to have your confidence. I will send my sixth draft, and I'm like, this is gonna be shit. Be prepared. Lol.
That's how I feel
Um,
about my sixth draft as well. Well, my first draft I don't, because I'm like, we both know
yeah,
it's shit.
yeah. That's why I feel like it's a lot less stakes to send a first draft
Yeah,
than a
exactly.
sixth draft. Plus one to Martha said, Stieg, if you send your work to me, you are guaranteed to hear back. Slay. Especially if it's the cowboy book. Ooh. Marta is so good at giving feedback. What a great review. But I'm not picky. The only thing I would have to send is the cowboy book. And that's not done, so. Very thorough, very entertaining comments. But if you want it, I'll send you your way whatever I have. I can send you a chapter by chapter. It could be like in the olden times, you subscribe to magazines and you got a chapter, like what's it called? Episodic or whatever.
Yeah. I want it once you finished it because you were writing it for a while and suddenly you scrapped it and started from scratch. So I'm not confident that you'll give me the final, like the entire book if you do this chapter by chapter, and
That's
I'll be
fair.
so frustrated. So
But the beauty of a story is that you get to make up your own end.
I don't like that. I want your end.
Yeah, well, I also want my end. I want to just write the end on a project, on a singular project in my lifetime. Please, writing gods, hear my plight.
Great for this one.
Um, Marta blushes. Anna agrees. Very good at giving feedback. I'm looking forward to this feedback, Marta. But yeah, plus one to Marta said. Did I miss any comments? If I did, I'm so sorry. I think we're gonna dive into our last sprint. Hopefully, I can crank out 500 words. If I can't, then I'll have to do another sprint. Uh,
Could
but
could you make it 30 minutes just so I have for sure
I,
time to eat my
for
food?
you, I'll do anything. For you, I'll hang the moon, Malin, always. Let's do a Laura timer. She's bound to have some fall timers in her repertoire, in her
For
catalog.
peace.
Let's see. Countdown timers. There you go.
Yeah, they're always so pretty.
Let's do a 10 minute. That's not going to do. That's not going to do. Is there no rhyme or reason to these timers, Laura?
I think if you have them in the order in which she posts them, then they're probably in order of the seasons or whatever. And because usually they'll be like in summer she'll post like a new summary one, things like that.
I'm looking at her playlist, question mark,
Mm.
and it's all just hot mess. But let's do autumn witch timer.
Ooh.
Let's see, share screen. You wanted 30?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. There you go.
Perfect.
Perfect. 20 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh, the rain sound is always
I
so sweet.
love rainy weather.
So nice.
How was that sprint for you, Malin?
It was really good. I ate my dinner while watching a world building video, and I'm now at 10 minutes of editing my video. So,
Slay. People can do
multitasking.
hard multitasking queen. I got 517 words.
Nice. You got over your word count for the day.
It was very easy. Well, not easy, but like it went fast because it's an action sequence
Oh,
and
I
just
love
like
writing those.
the culmination of an action sequence, and it's just like so dramatic. So it's just like blah 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 blah.
I
Um,
love writing action, and for some reason, I feel like that's something that people usually hate writing, but I
I
find
don't
it so
like
fun.
it. It's a lot easier than writing like the emotional stuff for me, or like
Yeah.
the dialogue.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so atrocious at dialogue.
I feel like my problem is I'm not very good at making sure my characters sound different enough from one another, and especially when it comes to a more emotional scene, because there's less potential for maybe like a gimmick that they say or whatever, like some sort of quirk of language, because it's more of a serious scene. So I find the same as you. I find it hard.
Yeah, but this is a first draft, so all it needs is to exist.
That's true.
Okay. But since I got my daily word count, that was the last sprint. There's going to be no more sprints today, but we're going to be back next week. I know. Next week, I'll
Wow.
be joined again by Marlin. I'll be joined by Mars, and then maybe some other guests. Who knows? Who knows? Well, I
I'm
know.
so
But
excited that you're now taking this time slot that unfortunately Phoebe's not, coming back to do Thursdays and Tuesdays. And you're saying this again like she's dead. She's alive.
she's alive. She just has a grown-up job. She has a mortal job now that
Yeah.
does a lot. Should I do Thursdays too? That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot.
Maybe I'll do Thursdays and
Ma-
then you come on my
Yes.
Thursday.
Yes. 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 It is now known. Let's see what our friends did. Mars did some more reading. I'm so close to finishing this book. Only about 25 pages left. Slay.
Nice.
Froggy edited about 1,000 words. Well done.
Nice.
Marta did a little more video editing. This is going incredibly slowly. Slow and steady wins the race.
Especially for video editing.
Minuk says, I love writing dialogue and despise internal feelings and stuff. Oof, too real. Marta says, all I needs to exist and be in my inbox. That's correct. One day, maybe. My goal is to finish it by the end of NaNoWriMo, come hell or high water.
Oh,
Uh,
I see Keiko asked what world building video I'm watching. It is by Lin D. Jung, and it's Fantasy World Building 101, Part 1, The Absolute Basics, because this is a channel Hudson recommended to me, and I had never watched her before. But she's got a whole series on world building, so I wanted to start from scratch. And the first 5 minutes of the video are very funny slander about J.K. Rowling's horrifying map of the world and the terrible locations for all of the schools of magic that make absolutely no sense from a political point of view. So that was interesting.
ooh, I might check that out. Can you link that to me?
Yes.
When you
So I
link
don't
the
have.
hotel you're staying at in Oxford?
I'm not on the live stream right now, so I can't link it directly unless I click join the chat. Can I do that?
I have no clue.
I'm scared it's gonna take me away. It's gonna be like,
Yeah, let's just wait for that. Let's just wait with that.
yeah, I'll just send it
Um,
to you now in Discord for now.
yeah, Martin says all it needs to is exist and be in my inbox. That is correct. Ooh, that is so soon. Ooh, it is so soon. Maybe the pressure is too big. I'm going to do my best to finish the end of by the end of November, and then I'll have like a month of leeway time if need be. Hello, little pooch. I see a little tail. Bye, Edgar. Bye, my love.
He's really acting a bit like tired. I think he's quite ill.
Yeah, Mars says, thanks for the sprints and the chatting. Had been fun. Keiko says, I was able to separate myself from reading FF to write my chapter. Slay, almost
Ooh,
finished. Only one confrontation scene left between the rivals to lovers. Oh, I love rivals to lovers. Give it to me.
that's a good one.
Keiko says, I know Lindy Jung's channel. I also watch Just in Time Worlds, and she makes wonderful videos as well, especially with society and political stuff for fantasy cultures.
Yeah.
Definitely will have to check out her for.
I sent you the link if you want to share it in the chat if anyone else is interested. Oh, I think Marta might have.
Oh, is this the link maybe? Marta does have wrench powers, so if
Might
anyone, it
be.
would be her. Let's see. I was looking for it anyway. Doggo, thanks for the stream. Yeah, thank you for the stream. I'll be here next Tuesday. Some more writing to be done. Some more guests to be chatted with. Stay tuned and thanks for being here. Sayonara, if I can find my outro. There it is. Bye.